In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, and may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon His last and beloved Messenger Muhammad, and may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon you all. The title of this presentation is, Why do you always think about sex? Now, as an introduction to this presentation, I want you to ponder upon the following question. Why is the majority of human interest focused on sex and related topics? Now, if we ponder upon what we see around us, we see that the main focus of people, whether in conversations, in films, in series, in TV series, in jokes, we see that their main focus is on sex and sexual acts and perverted sexual ideas. This is a common observation, that the majority of human focus, of human interest, is focused on sex and related topics. Now, it is worth pondering upon, why is this? Why is a person with all the other important matters in his life that he needs to focus upon, why is he so much focused on sex, on the private parts of male and female, focused on these kind of topics? Now, to answer this question, we need to know who is behind this? Who is behind the focus of people on sex? And what he wants to derive from it, what's the aims of this, and how to cure this. Now, if we go to the Quran, the last revelation of Allah got to people, we see that Allah in one verse gives us the cause for this problem. In the Quran, in chapter 7, verse 27, which reads, O children of Adam, let not Satan deceive you, as he got your parents out of paradise, stripping them of their clothes, to show them their private parts. Verily, he and his soldiers from the jinn and the tribe, or his tribe, see you from where you cannot see them. Verily, Allah God made the devils awliya, protectors and helpers for those who believe not. So if we ponder upon this Quranic verse, we see that Allah God Almighty tells us directly that, O people, do not be deceived by Satan as he deceived our parents, meaning Adam and Eve, and he deceived them in paradise. And Allah states in the verse, stripping them of their clothes to show them their private parts. So we derive here directly that the one responsible for making people to focus on sex and their private parts and perverted sexual ideas is Satan. He's the only reason why people focus so much on sex. That is a direct answer we get from the Quran. Now the next question, what is the aim of Satan in this? Now we also learn from the Quran that Satan is an enemy for us. And as an enemy, he doesn't want what's good for you. He wants you to be in pain and despair and to be in a horrible state. So how can Satan achieve this? By making people focus on sex. Now, the answer is, when a person focuses so much on sex, that is day and night, he's thinking about this topic, then he becomes ignorant. He becomes ignorant about all other aspects of his life. And when he becomes in this state, he doesn't know right and wrong anymore, what is lawful, what's forbidden. He's just living his life. And Satan, when a person becomes so much ignorant, then Satan, if he tells him to go right, he will go right. If he tells him to do this, he will do that. So ignorance is a big problem. So when a person again focuses so much on sex, he becomes ignorant and his quality of life deteriorates so much. The other kind of aim of Satan in this is that when a person is bombarded with all of these thoughts on sex, then his resistance to adultery and being unfaithful in a marriage becomes low. because he wants to experience and to know what these thoughts feel like. So Satan wants a person to disobey Allah more and more, and making a person to focus on sex and related topics is a one way of Satan in doing this, to lower your resistance to adultery and unlawful sexual acts. So we see that the aim of Satan in this is to hurt you and to cause you pain and despair. Now the next logical question: how does Satan achieve this? How can Satan make you focus so much on sex? Now, in order to understand this, we need to understand how does Satan affect each and every one of us. And as I said in previous lectures and presentations, the only book on the face of the earth which tells you this is the Quran. There is no other book that can teach you how does Satan affect you. So if we go to the Quran, we know how does Satan affect each and every one of us. And as I said, I talked about this in so many of my lectures. I'll just give a quick summary here, that we learn from the Quran that each and every one of us has a voice of oneself. And that's the voice you speak with, and the same voice you hear in your head when you are thinking quietly to yourself. That's your own voice. Now we also learn from the Quran that when you are born, there is a devil assigned to you at birth and stays with you till death. And this companion devil, no one is immune from this. Each and every one of us has a companion devil. And in the Quran, Allah tells us the scientific mechanism on how this companion devil affects us in chapter 114 verse 4, which reads, "From the evil of the whisperer who hides." From the evil of the whisperer who hides. So Allah is telling us that this companion devil, he whispers to you, meaning he talks to you. He engages you in conversation, but at the same time he hides from you. So the question is, how can this companion devil talk to me and at the same time hide from me, meaning that I don't feel his presence? The only scientific way Satan can accomplish this is if he matches his voice with all regards to your own voice. So he makes his voice identical to yours with regards to style of speech, the languages you know English, you know Arabic, whatever language you know, your style of speech, is it fast, slow, and he starts talking to you in your mind, and you hear these thoughts in your mind, they just pop up in your mind, and you think that yourself is telling you this because the voice is identical, while actually it's your companion devil, Satan. So after we understood this, coming back to the topic, how can Satan make a person focus so much on sex and sexual acts? The answer is as follows. He bombards you day and night with thoughts in your mind, that pop up in your mind about sexual fantasies, making you kind of engage in conversations about sex and dirty jokes, and so constant bombardment with these thoughts. And before you listen to this lecture, you think that yourself is dirty, yourself is telling you this kind of thoughts, and you just go along with these thoughts, but actually it's your companion devil to make you ignorant and to make you disobey Allah more and more. Also, for example, when you watch TV, he comes to you with a voice match that when you think within your mind, telling you, look, if you look at dirty songs and movies and so forth, you'll feel happy, and there is no you are not hurting anybody. So he gives you argument after argument in your mind to convince you of doing this. And as I said, he comes to you as if he's advising you, but actually he wants you to become ignorant, to disobey Allah God Almighty, to waste your life, and to bring you pain and despair in this life and the hereafter. And the way out of this, two steps. Firstly, to realize what I'm saying, and to realize when a perverted sexual thought comes into your mind, it's not yourself, it's your enemy, your companion devil, and to remember that he wants you to make you ignorant and to disobey Allah God Almighty, to waste your life. Second step, do not agree with what he's telling you. For example, if he tells you to go and watch dirty songs and movies, and don't keep thinking about these kind of perverted sexual ideas, and so basically to disobey Satan. Now you realize the bombardment with these kind of thoughts, to disobey him, focus on something beneficial, focus on something that will benefit you in this life and the hereafter, like pondering upon the Quran, using the Quran in your life, and you will loosen the grip of Satan on you if you do what I'm telling you, what Allah advises you to do in the Quran. And to know more details about this topic, please visit my website at www.quran-miracle.com, and you can email me at zaidquran@gmail.com. And may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon you all.